4 million minutes. That is how much time you will spend at work over a 35-year career. You're busy, you're productive, you have emails. But if you think about it, how many of those moments will truly matter to you? Are you experiencing joy at work? Are you enduring work, or are you enjoying it? Did you know that research shows that the strongest, the most powerful indicator of our happiness, of our thriving, of our well-being, that it comes from the richness of our social networks, our social connections? Given how much time you spend at work, can you imagine the difference that would make in life if you experience more connection there? I didn't always think about work this way. Early on in my career, I thought work was all about getting stuff done. It was knowing more. I was focused on results, not the relationships with the people I was doing it with. A mentor of mine picked up on this, and he shared a quote with me that maybe you've heard. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Does that resonate with you? For me, it started a 30-year journey of studying connection and relationships at work, of practicing leadership and truly trying to learn how to put people first. But knowing is not always doing. Years later in my career, I drifted. I was on autopilot. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't putting people first. I wasn't putting my health or myself first. I was burning out. I wasn't sleeping. I was stressed. At work, I was impatient with my team. And it didn't stop at the office door. At home, I was short with my family. I wasn't myself. One night, my daughter looked up at me and she said, "Dad, you're here, but you're not really here." Oof. I was becoming the worst version of me when I was on autopilot. What I learned is that connection is not a value that you set and forget. Connection is ongoing effort. It's a habit. It's a practice. And when I wasn't being present, I stopped practicing it. But disconnection doesn't only happen on autopilot. Sometimes it happens when you don't have all the information. A friend of mine, Chiagi, experienced this early on in her career. She was living in the heart of one of Canada's most prosperous cities. She was hitting every sales target, exceeding performance reviews. From the outside, she was the model of professional success. But inside, she was struggling. What many people didn't see is that she often felt like the loneliest person in every room. Is there anything worse than feeling alone? Surrounded by people you know. Connection at work is not a soft idea. Even as AI will continue to shape the new world of work, how you work with others will matter as much as what you know. The World Economic Forum has identified that as technological and analytical skills grow in importance, so too do relationship management skills, social influence, leadership, how you show up with others. These are the skills that will shape your opportunities, your influence, your career. And the good news is these are still human skills and ones that are not yet easily automated. But knowing is not doing. Despite this knowledge, many of us still quietly avoid connecting. We keep our cameras off during video calls. We eat lunch at our desks. We avoid the busiest day in the office. Any of this sound familiar? Maybe you do some of this because you're not sure if others really care. Well, researchers in Stanford recently challenged that belief that many of us carry around. They identified that people consistently underestimate how much care and empathy others have for them. In other words, you are surrounded by people who care. You just don't always see it. And when we do that, we pull back and connection fades away. So the question isn't whether connection matters. The question is, who at work will you show that you care? For me, over time, a few simple practices kept showing up and making this a little easier. I think of them as 3 small shifts: notice, nudge, navigate. Notice. You can't change what you can't see. Let's do a little experiment. I'd like you to quietly look around the room and count all the things that you see that are red. Are you ready? Go. Okay, question. How many blue things did you count? When we're only focused on results, relationships become invisible. We are on autopilot so much of the time. And autopilot is not a failure of character. It's part of being human. It keeps us breathing, keeps us alive. But it's not how connection happens. Notice is simply interrupting autopilot when it comes to our interactions with others. So think, what relationships at work are you on autopilot with? Because once you notice, then you can nudge. A nudge is a small intentional correction. Sometimes it's new information, sometimes it's a reminder. In that Stanford research that I mentioned, it was both. They shared new information about how much others truly cared, and then they sent them reminders about it, and behavior shifted. Those participants took small social risks. They reached out to others. They asked a colleague how they were really doing. They shared when they themselves were struggling. Small, minor moments of uncertainty where they didn't know how the other would respond. Imagine the difference this would make in your workplace if you took more small social risks. Other research shows that in companies where this happens, something changes. Trust is higher. And when trust is high, stress is lower. Energy is higher, and results are delivered. But nudges are moments in time. Navigate is what turns these moments into a practice. Navigate is what turns intention into action again and again. Let me tell you about Kevin. Kevin was an admin clerk in one of our locations. At one point in my career, I had over 300 people reporting on my team. There was no way that I could get to know everyone well. So I implemented a simple practice to make connection easier. Every time I would travel to a new location, I would meet with 10 new people. 15 minutes each, no agenda, one question. Who is? Who is Sarita? Who is Pat? Not what do you do, but who are you? When I met Kevin, I asked that question. Who is Kevin, not who is Pat? And then I listened. At my retirement, Kevin sent me a note saying that I was the only senior leader in his entire career who had taken the time to get to know him. Those 15 minutes mattered to him. and they matter to me. So who will you take 15 minutes at work getting to know better? That question brings us back to Tiegi. She noticed her loneliness. She nudged herself to do something about it. And she navigated to something new. Today, Tiegi leads a company built on a simple belief that technology should help us find each other, not replace each other. What began as her personal experience with loneliness has become a mission to help increase connection and joy at work. 4 million minutes is a long time. Make more minutes matter by how you work with others. Make connecting a habit. Make it a practice. Make it part of who you are. Because when you do, work becomes more than a place where we produce. It becomes a place where you belong. And that's how we thrive in the new world of work. Thank you.